I'm about to take you behind the scenes of something I'm really excited about. And I'm going to show you how I've been working on a presentation that I'm going to be delivering to my local Chamber of Commerce in just a few days. What's unique and interesting about this is that I've been utilizing AI during the entire process, not only as a way to guide my thinking, but I also wanted to conduct an experiment to make sure that I could deliver on what I was talking about. And that is mainly using AI as your personal assistant in order to unlock that creative genius that you have, unlock those creative ideas that you have in your mind. I started early on thinking, I'm going to make everything I do using AI as my guide as I go through this. This journey has been going on for several weeks, and I'm finally wrapping up the finishing touches on this presentation. And I want to show you how it started and what I did along the way, and then how I built my presentation using some AI tools. What I hope that you take away from this is not that I'm using some clever application to instantly create a presentation. I think the bigger takeaway here is that I've been thinking about this for 3 weeks. I'm going to utilize AI to make sure that I capture those moments and capture it in a way that is structured, and I can then put it into my outline later on. Here is where it all began. And that is with a simple prompt using ChatGPT, where I talked directly into the application and said, hey, I need some help. I'm going to do a presentation to the local Chamber of Commerce for some business people, and I need some help creating an outline. Here is the first input about what I'm thinking about. And also, I'm open to suggestions for ideas that would fit thematically into my presentation. And so this is literally what I said over 3 weeks ago directly in a ChatGPT. And as you would expect, it came up with an outline. I knew this wasn't what I wanted to present, but this was a way to capture some of my earliest ideas and get them into writing. And that is the starting point for me, because this part here, we're putting thoughts into writing, even in minimal bullet point form, is always the part that takes me the longest. I am so grateful to have an assistant where I could get this into writing, even if it's not the final version of what I wanted. And then as I had more ideas, I would enter them in and I would continue talking to it. And so this was my process to begin my creative effort, because I had the idea of what I wanted to talk about early on, but I needed to get all of this into some type of structure so I could go back to it later on when I was in a mindset where I was ready to edit. The important part was when you have those moments of inspiration, you need to get them out of your head and into writing. And using voice to text is one of those superpowers that you can utilize to get AI to recognize that text, then do something with it. And the other thing that I did is when I wasn't in front of a computer, I used my other application, Otter.ai, to capture my thinking when I was away from my desk. And typically that was on my phone. If I was walking down the street or if I was on a hike, I would take out my phone and just take a few moments, and I would go in and I would record a conversation. And this stacked up over time. I've got literally dozens of these notes. And what this turned into are all of these mini notes where I can go in, take this transcript and copy it into ChatGPT. And then I would get more information that I could add to my presentation. That was the iterative process. And it's not unlike just taking down some notes in your notebook and coming back later on and doing it again. But for me, being able to use my voice and transcribe it, and get that into a note form and then use AI to put into an outline is a true gift. And I didn't have to worry about how to get it structured. But the other thing is that you can go back into this and say, I don't like this outline. Let's remove this section here and add something else. And AI, as your assistant, will do that. Now, finally, when I really did get down towards the end of it and I started to get a pretty decent outline, I would go and put everything from my ChatGPT conversation. I go pick out the parts that really made sense to me, and I put this into a more formal outline. And I use a product called Notion.so just because I like how you can format things. It's a lot more forgiving than Microsoft Word or Google Docs. Now, once I get through this whole part about putting my whole outline in, here's where some real magic comes in. I have another application that I use that helps me develop presentations. And that product is called Gamma.app. And I'm going to show you what it looks like when you take an outline that you have that's highly structured. And then you can go into Gamma, and this is a presentation software that is part website developer, part presentation software like PowerPoint, and it's its own unique software that is unlike anything else. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask it to create a presentation for me. I'm just going to copy and paste my outline that you just saw, and it's asking me if I want to make a document or a web page or a presentation. And I'm going to choose presentation and then hit continue. And what it's going to do at this point is it's building a prompt behind the scenes that's going to guide it in creating a presentation. And because I have everything in a structured format, it understands all the different bullet points and all the different slides based off of the different type of headings that I have. So it understands hierarchy. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to ask it to condense text. I want a brief amount of text on each card, and it's going to develop images, and the format is a presentation. And I'm going to keep it at 8 cards. But you could easily say, hey, I want 10 cards. Let's do that and see what happens. Now it's going to ask me for a theme, and I have all sorts of choices here. So I'm going to choose this one right there, and I'm going to hit generate. And here's where the magic happens with this platform. It's going to quickly go through and generate the equivalent of a slide page. In this software, they call it cards. It's taking my outline that I created here, and it's creating a few things. So one, it's creating AI art. So I have my images along the way, and then it's utilizing what I talked about to build a slide. So I've got a timeline-based slide here. In this card here, I have an image with text on the left, then a text slide, another timeline card, and so on. Then what I typically do, I'll go through this, and you can see there's a lot here. I will then go through and edit the whole thing. I can take out any of these images and add an image that I like, so it doesn't need to be AI generated art. And I can edit the text so it sounds more in line with me. The other thing that I will typically do here is I'll take a screenshot of the text, and then I can go back into ChatGPT, and I've got my own custom ChatGPT that understands my voice and my tone and my style. And I'm going to paste this in there and say, rewrite to emulate my tone and style. So a couple magic things happen here. It goes through and it looks at this slide, and then it's going to refine that text so it sounds a little bit more in line with how I would talk about it versus what Gamma came up with. I still have a bit of editing to do, but this is how I take an idea about a presentation from pure thoughts, utilize ChatGPT to capture all of my thinking, and then utilize other software like Otter.ai to capture my thinking when I'm away from my computer. And then I refine it again with ChatGPT, and ultimately I'll put that in outline form. And then when I'm happy with that outline, I create the presentation using this software called Gamma.app. And now I have a presentation that is ready to be edited. And it's a lot easier to edit than it is to generate from scratch. I am still the one who's going to deliver this presentation. All of these words have to be mine in the end. But if you utilized AI the entire way to capture my thinking and structure it in a way that really aligns with how I'm thinking about the topic. This is a crude, quick example of what I did over the course of 3 weeks, and I've condensed it down into about 10 minutes. Yet when I really get done with the final result, this contains all of my words. And when I deliver it, it's my voice, my speaking, and me in reality. So it truly is a bridging of AI as that personal assistant and me hoping that I can use this amazing technology to capture all of my creativity and get that out into the world in a way that I care deeply about. I hope this is something that inspires you to get whatever is in your head and down into writing in a way that you can communicate it best into the world and take all of the thoughts that you've got in your mind and get them out to the people who want to hear them. All right, that is it for today. Talk to you soon.